Mike, how do you figure out what it is you want to do? Because especially for people who go through this transition from their business into the rest of their lives, it's often very hard to figure it out. And I would love Kass to also talk about it. How did you guys figure out what it is you actually wanted?
So I'll start, but Kass is really, a better answer. I want to do everything, and Kass is my filter.
Okay.
Literally, we had a meeting yesterday, and I'm coming out of it like, let's do it. Like, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's like any other person would be like, this is an incredible opportunity. And Kass is like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, no. Like, just sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, and so I think like, the beauty of my relationship with this incredible woman who will not share an office with me is I got all of the credit for our businesses.
Mm-hmm.
I was named Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. I was named Fortune Magazine's 40 Under 40.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Kass is older, so maybe she didn't qualify. I got all of the credit, but we were equal partners. Neither of us would have been able to build any of the businesses alone. And so part of writing the book was exposing Kass's behind the scenes work that has created the life we have today. And I think any entrepreneur who's thinking about a co-founder needs to really dial into how do you choose someone who complements your weaknesses and your strengths negate their weaknesses. So together you're stronger and you can build a foundation of trust, empathy, compassion, respect, which only happens over time.
Yeah.
Like you may be friends with someone, but until you start a company with them and literally get work married to them, you really don't build an enduring relationship. And, some relationships are built on interests, hobbies, religions, way of lives. Our 30-year love affair is based on just the hard work of building companies and families and, homes and memories and, and a life.
You did mention that after the sale of golf.com, you went through a rough patch together. What helped you get out of that? Because again, this is very common after exits, right? There are so many divorces or difficult years for couples. How did you guys handle it? And are there lessons you could share with others who are going through this?
I think it's cliche, but it really is communication. Mike and I have always talked about like the kitchen table. That's where we bring everything and just sit down and dump and, dump it all, it wasn't easy, right? So there's a lot of miscommunication when you get to that point, but it is about unpacking everything, listening, and then rebuilding. And I think often, you forget the simple part of what makes relationships grow, and that's communication, right? And we're so good at knowing each other's lanes that when we're disconnected, it's because we haven't communicated and we haven't shared on a deeper or more meaningful level. We've checked boxes. We've told each other the things we've done. We've shared to-do lists. I'm very good at giving Mike to-do lists and priorities, but we haven't really talked about the feelings underneath it. And I think that's really how you start to rebuild. And you have to do that because, I remember both times after selling the company, Mike being really grumpy, right? And it wasn't because he had to go work at Time Inc. or go work at Salesforce. You actually, I think, enjoyed your time at Salesforce and learning there because there were different things you were learning. But he was, I think, going through an identity shift. And instead of, I think we could have gotten stuck not talking about his feelings of grumpiness and what was causing it. And those start to pile up, and then you think those feelings are going to last forever, right? And both sides say, oh my God, he's going to be grumpy forever. Or Mike's thinking, I'm going to feel like crap forever. you've got to acknowledge the little feelings along the way, the mishaps along the way, so that the intention is there, and then you can move forward. And then the healing, you want to heal the little cracks, right? If you think about a foundation, if you have little cracks, you want to put, the glue back in, because otherwise they become big cracks.